Sorry guys, getting used to a new setup. Looks like we got some people piling in. What's up, everybody? It's your boy J Mac, and welcome to Bigfoot Input Live. We are live. A lot of interesting stuff happening this week. We're gonna dive into it. I I got some cool things on my birthday, aka Christmas. Christmas for you guys. I got this cool arm that holds my device while I do these live things so I don't have to. But I am working out the kinks. So bear with me, all right? But everybody can hear me okay, right? All right, we got Kathy from Bigfoot World. Welcome. So anyway, guys, welcome to Bigfoot Live, Bigfoot Input Live. We're gonna try to do this every other Friday, I believe. Seems to be the way it's working out. 2 times a month, we're gonna get together and talk about Bigfoot and really whatever you guys want to talk about. You want to talk about anything paranormal, anything cryptid related? I'm game. Doesn't matter. Um, I think let's see. First of all, I don't know if any of you guys are a beer nerd like me, but I got some really cool Yeti and Bigfoot related beers on my birthday. So, pretty excited about that. Welcome to the group, Pamela. And we got a couple new videos out this week. Um, I don't know if everyone has caught up, but we had the drone footage, the Bigfoot drone footage, and then we had the Bigfoot Ontario boater footage. So I definitely want to talk about those. Yeah, welcome, Pam. Normally I wouldn't have this fan on during these recordings, but I'll tell you what, the cold weather left us just as quickly as it showed up, and I think we're solidly back into the 70s now. Sorry about that one, guys. Occupational hazard. So I think, let's talk about the drone footage real fast. If anyone hasn't seen it, basically what you're looking at is a drone in the woods. It's really snowy, and he's just kind of randomly flying around, and he catches a Bigfoot walking, and he gets overhead to Bigfoot and stays overhead the whole time. And it's about, I don't know, there's pretty good exposure, probably about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, and to look at it just straight on, it looks like pretty good evidence. You're like, this is cool. It's a drone catching a Bigfoot, which I think we all know if it hasn't happened already, it will. I think there's a couple more legitimate instances where that's happened, but this one in particular, this Bigfoot's just walking along and has zero concern that this drone is buzzing right above its head, like literally less than 20 feet above its head, and he doesn't ever look up. Nothing. So yeah, for me that's concerning. But here's the thing about that video: the original poster was a guy named his channel is named Ken's Carpentry, and he's a Canadian guy, and he does houses and he builds houses and stuff. That's his whole channel, and it's a pretty good channel if you like that sort of thing. Um, but if you watch his videos, you'll see that he owns a very costume style Bigfoot suit. Like when you see it straight on, you instantly realize that, oh, this is a costume. He's not trying to fool anybody. He's not trying to hoax anybody. It's just funny. And because he'll say things like, Bigfoot showed up to help us today, whatever, and then you see this Bigfoot walk by, and hello, Kathy. I think I know you. That's my little cousin, everybody. And so anyway, Ken has these videos, and you can just, like I said, you can tell that it's satire. This one, on the other hand, did not feel like satire. It absolutely felt like it was supposed to be real. In fact, I would go as far as to call it a hoax. If I hadn't have seen his other videos and knew that it was a joke, hey, Brown Dwarf's back, welcome, then I think I would have been upset, once it came to light that it was a hoax. But like I said, having seen his other videos, he got me the first time. The first time he got some footage of a Bigfoot crossing a road, and then there was like this scream, and I thought, wow, this is good footage. And then once I started digging in his channel and saw that he owned a suit, then that just sort of broke it for me. I said, okay, well, this guy's just a jokester. And then this latest drone footage, everyone's taking it, cutting it, chopping it, adding music, putting it on TikTok, and really, it's just clickbait. They want you to click and go, oh my God, it's a Bigfoot. So, like I said, I would tell you, just do your due diligence. Go on Ken's Carpentry's page, and you'll see numerous mentions of Bigfoot, Sasquatch. He's a Canadian guy, so I think it's Sasquatch for him, but it's just a joke, and it doesn't matter. Did Tim T make? It doesn't matter. To him, it's like I said, it's just a joke. So I wouldn't take, don't take any of his videos too seriously, obviously. I'm not sure what you mean, Kathy. I know who Tim T is. He's from the Central Florida group, I believe, mid Central Florida. That guy's got some really interesting stuff. A lot of good footprints. Yeah, Brown Dwarf. I think we were all a little taken about it right at the beginning, but once I found out the original poster was Ken's Carpentry, then that just squashed it for me. And after that, it's sad to see it kind of go on as far as it has gone, really just being misleading. Yeah, they do believe it, and like I said, that's what's sad about it is it's really not a bad piece of footage. It's just that when you consider that, I can't imagine that a Sasquatch would just allow that drone to buzz above its head like that with it never missing a step. I mean, he didn't stop and look. He didn't speed up. He didn't do anything. He just kept going. You know. Oh yeah, thanks, Kathy. It would be cool if Tim joined us. Um, yeah, I've checked out a lot of his stuff previously. Some of the stuff, we all don't always fall on the same page, and everybody gets that. We understand. I don't get aligned with the interdimensional sort of abilities that some, telepathy and things that Bigfoot can do. Some people think that Bigfoot can do. I don't really get involved with that, but that doesn't mean that I don't think they can't camouflage. I think that that's a very natural thing, and I think that's very possible. Well, Dorf, I think that a lot of that was dubbed in along with his voice because he's talking over the whole video. And, you know, who's he talking to? How is he recording that? The drone's not recording him talking. Uh, so, yeah, I think the whole video was dubbed over with his voice and with, like you say, with the crunchy footsteps. And it was, it is what it is. It was a joke, so I think everyone should take it that way. But no, every time a little piece of footage comes out that somebody can hijack and add the dramatic music and change to a sepia tone or whatever they do, they'll do that and they'll throw it on their TikTok and get a few thousand likes. Yeah, I agree with that, Kathy. Tim has some really important stuff going on. Like I said, I don't think I've ever been quite so impressed with the the, the footprints from anywhere else that he has. I mean, he has just droves of footprints going in one direction and the other, and they're very impressive. All right, so you guys seem pretty in the know. Has everyone seen the Ontario boater footage? Hey, La Red. Hey, from Vancouver Island, huh? Cool. So we were watching, what's that show? Q and I were watching that show Alone, and a lot of those episodes are filmed in Vancouver Island. And one of the women contestants there got some audio, and she herself claimed that it sounded like two Sasquatch kind of getting it on, and I couldn't really disagree with her. It didn't sound like big cats, although I know they have big cats on Vancouver Island. But what better place to live if you're a Sasquatch than that huge, vast wilderness of Vancouver Island? And I truly believe that the more that we have the forest fires and things like that in California, that the Sasquatch are definitely going to be migrating more north towards British Columbia, Alberta, and things like that. So. So to revisit the Ontario boater footage, you'll find it. Let's see, Thinker Thunker has it. Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization has it. Um, what's that one guy's name? Skull. He did a very objective sort of breakdown of it. I think Para Breakdown has it. So it's up everywhere. It's up on our page too. You can go take a look at it there. I had dubbed it the best Sasquatch footage of 2022, and I'll still kind of stand behind that. Although I feel that the footage is impressive right off the bat, but the more you dig into the footage and start listening to some of the points that people are bringing up, it does raise a lot of question. And it I think if it's a hoax, it's such a good one that it's going to break my heart to be a hoax, if that makes sense. And I get that a lot. Like when I debunk something and I tell people that no, this is a fake and here's why, I get a lot of people that get angry with me. Well, what do you know? Were you there? Did you see it? And they start defending a piece of video that they have no, real attachment to other than emotional. And they just want it to be real. And, anybody that knows me knows that I am a Bigfoot Sasquatch believer. I've had some minimal personal experiences myself. And, but that doesn't mean that every video that hits the internet is real. So I have to call them like I see them. And if I see something wrong with a video, I'm going to tell you. Yeah, Brown Dwarf. It is bigfootinput at gmail.com, and I will not be able to check it until the end of this live cast, but feel free to send absolutely anything you want. And we will look at it. We do get some pictures and some videos occasionally. I felt bad. I sort of offended this woman just recently. I didn't mean to. I try to be as nice as I can, but she was sending me just endless pictures of serious pareidolia. I mean, not even like a question of whether something could be there, just a collection of leaves that sort of kind of almost looks like a face. And I just I didn't want to be rude to her, so I just kept letting her send the emails. She would send them and send them and send them. And I even published one of her videos that she sent me of the loggers. Yeah, please do, Kathy. Send me anything you got, and we'll get it into the next video, which should be coming up shortly. But so I had to tell the lady, because she emailed me, she backed me into a corner. She said, you don't ever respond to these, and I don't know if you're getting them, and I finally just had to tell her. I said, listen, she was going online and just finding, not even like on Sasquatch Bigfoot pages, she would just go on like national park websites and stuff and just find a picture of trees and tell me about the faces that she's seeing in there, and I, she was an older lady, and I really respect her, like, hobby and her love for the subject. But I just, I'm a busy guy. I really am. I do a lot of things, and I work full time and stuff like that, and I just don't have time to respond to every single video or picture of a tree stump that you think is a Sasquatch. So unfortunately, like I said, I do my best to be nice to people and kind to people, but I think I offended her. I have not heard from her since, so oh well. Yes. Yeah, I don't think it was mental health. She was an older lady. She was like in her, like, I don't know, late 80s or something like that. And I just think that she was really caught in pareidolia. I mean, honestly, it's happened to me before. In fact, if you go back and look at some of like the reaction videos, it happened literally in the middle of the reaction video. I'm just sitting here looking at the picture and I'm saying, "Oh, this looks like that and this and that and this and that." And then all of a sudden, it hits me. It's a tree. It's a burnt out tree, and it just hit me that quick. And pareidolia, it sucks. It's for anybody that doesn't know. I mean, I'm sure most of you guys probably already know, but pareidolia is an evolutionary trait left over from our Neanderthal stage, and it would help us avoid being ambushed while hunting, gathering, that sort of thing, so we can actually see faces in the bush. Well, as we've evolved and don't really have much of a need for that, it still lingers in our evolutionary, genes, our DNA. It's still there. And that's what pareidolia is. That's why we see, Jesus in toast and we see things in the clouds. Our mind tries to make sense of things, even random shapes, tries to make it into something else. And I've seen some pareidolia that would just blow your mind. It really, I would love to do a video on it sometime. You just think you're seeing one thing and then all of a sudden your brain just clicks and it's like, whoa, that wasn't what I was seeing at all. This is what I'm really seeing. So there's an old saying that says your eyes tell lies. And that's true. You cannot believe everything you see. I would love to do a video like that, Kathy. I'm gonna have to come up with a bunch of um, examples of pareidolia. I know that there's quite a few out there. I'd have to come up with a bunch of them though, and make a whole video about pareidolia, and 3 people will watch it. So I'm gonna jump back on this Ontario boater footage. All right, so I was totally on board when I first saw it. I said, "Holy shit, this is the best video since Independence Day, since Patterson Gimlin, since jeez, Freeman. This is where his name just fell out of my head. Freeman. This is like, it looked to me a really good, clear version of a Paul Freeman video. That's what it looked like. So I was excited about it. I said, this is the next big thing. So then a few things started coming out about the video. Thinker Thunker did it, and when Thinker Thunker does things, it's pretty well accepted as gold, right? He measured the ratios. He did the whole arm, leg length thing that he does. I'm not going to get into that. That's not my thing. That's his. He does a great job at it. If you really want to see some educational stuff, go check out some of his videos, and it's excellent. So anyway, when he gave it the gold star, everybody else did. Yeah. So, basically, this boat takes off from the shore, and they say, "Well, we're out here today to film the river. We want to get footage of this beautiful river." And it's beautiful country, and it's in Ontario. So, but the thing that people are pointing out is that the camera never pans anywhere. It focuses on that one knoll over across the shore, and the camera never leaves there. It just focuses right on it, like almost like they knew something was going to be there, right? Okay, so there's one issue. The second issue is that, and this isn't really an issue for the people that filmed it, but when RSMO got their hands on it, Rocky Mountain RMS, Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization, when they got their hands on it, they inverted the video. And no one can really figure out why. Now, someone did question, I don't know that gentleman's name from RMSO, but they questioned him, why did you do that? And he said, we did it to protect the identity of the land that the video was taken on. Okay, look, this is every river bank that you've ever seen. I mean, it's just not in Florida, like outside, like nice river banks, like outside of Florida, like blue water, river, green trees. It's just everyone that you've ever seen. There's absolutely no possible way you could look at this and identify it. Okay, but anyway, let's just take their word for it because they're a pretty reputable organization. They said what they said. We did it to protect the identity. Okay. So then, here comes the creature. Comes out of the woods, steps directly onto this big knoll, and walks across. On a live stream. I'm gonna get right back to you, Des. That's a good question. So, as it was, the questions were rose. Okay, so we're dealing with this elusive creature, and it hears an onboard motor on this boat, but it gives up its shelter of the trees and walks right out into the open, and then keeps going. Now, that's a good point, I guess, but I think you could argue that the motor itself drove it to get away. And then again, the arm length was correct. If it was a suit, it was a damn good one. And I feel that there's a lot of legitimacy to it. I don't think that anyone has debunked it, even though they're trying pretty hard. But and then of course the guys that filmed it, they won't talk. They're not answering anybody. They're deleting posts and really just kind of acting shady. But that happens though, honestly, when somebody does get footage, like that guy in Tennessee that had the footage of the long-armed creature. All of a sudden he gets bombarded by everybody. Like, we want to talk about this. I was one of them. Hey, I contacted the guy. I said, can we talk about this thing? And and then all of a sudden you start backing down because your family and friends are looking at you and they're like, oh yeah, you saw Bigfoot, huh? Ha ha ha. And it becomes this joke, and people are actually shamed into changing their stories and recanting on what they said. But anyway, let's talk about what Des said. Yeah, I agree, Kiwi girl. Welcome to the chat. I think the stride was convincing. I think it was, they say it wasn't long enough, but he's walking on this little rocky outcrop. I mean, maybe he's trying not to fall. I mean, it just seems to I think everybody seems to think that every Sasquatch has to take an 8-foot stride. I mean, I just think he was walking from point A to point B. So yeah, I agree. I think it was very very reminiscent of Patty. So Des says, what do you think will happen if someone kills one, a live stream the body? So I'm going to assume that kind of means they kill one on live stream. I mean, okay, there's been videos before of Sasquatch being killed. They're all very fake. I don't think live stream would make a difference. I think if there was a live stream, I think some sort of government agency would be all over it immediately. And as far as the body goes, if anybody is interested, my birthday was on Christmas, okay? So you guys missed it. Kathy got me 2 tickets to the Ocala Skunk Ape conference, so she got me a birthday present. But if anyone else is interested, we have a Patreon, and it's patreon.com/Bigfoot Input. It's just $1 a month, which is the lowest amount that I can have Patreon charge. And all it is a way to support the channel, but there's also a little extra content over there. YouTube will not let us post anything post mortem because they'll demonetize our video, demonetize our channel. So we have to be careful about the things that we post. But I did do a video, and I'm going to do another one about cryptid corpses. So if you're interested in seeing some pictures of what are could be considered cryptid corpses, and the same thing I do with the other videos on YouTube, I do over there, but I'm doing it with the corpses, and we're talking about what we're seeing. We're doing commentary. It's a cool thing, and we hope to do more over there. We hope to do a podcast at some point. Unfortunately, it's just there's only so much time during the day, so we're working on things. Thank you, Des. I appreciate that. Again, patreon.com/Bigfoot Input. There's a couple videos. It's not a lot of content. I'm gonna warn you guys. I'm not trying to be deceiving. There's only like 2 videos and maybe a couple pictures. We're building it. We're going to build the content. But for $1 a month, it helps us out as far as the content that we offer for free on YouTube, which is, I think we're over like 107 videos right now. Excuse me, I'm going to pause for beer. There are helicopters in my neighborhood right now, and I can only assume that's because earlier I heard that there was a naked man running around my neighborhood, and I guess he started his New Year's early. So there's helicopters swooping back and forth above my house right now. So Kiwi Girl brought up an interesting point about Patterson-Gimlin. I was doing some research on that the other day. I've never done a video about Patterson-Gimlin because I feel it's been done to death, and I don't ever want to be like hacked like that, where I just just keep talking about the same videos and the same pictures. But I think one of the things that no one talks a lot about is that the Patterson-Gimlin video, the 34-second video, is actually like 7.5 minutes long. So the video, before that video was taken, before Patterson-Gimlin was taken, the loggers in that area were complaining to the local police, to the Wildlife Association, the forestry people, that they were being met with hostility from these tribes of large, hairy people living in the forest. And obviously they're cutting these trees down. They're Sasquatch is getting pissed, right? So Patterson-Gimlin took this opportunity to go out to Willow Creek and to do some filming. Well, back in, what was that, 67? I mean, doing some filming was a big deal, It wasn't an easy thing to take a camcorder out there and to film. So what they ended up getting, I believe there's actually, it's either 7 or like 11 minutes of film, but it's of them sort of making their way into the forest and stopping here or there, and it's back then I don't know, there wasn't a lot of content to it, but it was just them, and there was no sound, obviously. So they get themselves around the Willow Creek area where they have been doing a lot of the deforestation, and all of a sudden here's Patty. walking from point A to point B. Now, a lot of people might tell you that Patty had dropped off her juvenile and was leading the men away from it, which makes sense because she was completely in the open, you know. And then there's also a larger conspiracy that if you watch the extended video, you'll see these large dark piles in the background, and because it was low resolution, you can't really tell what they are. Now, they could have been piles of logs. Some people suggest that they are bodies, that there's piles of bodies of the Sasquatch that they had killed to continue logging, and that's why Patty was dropping off her juvenile and leading the men away so her juvenile wouldn't get killed. Now, I will say that's a little bit of a conspiracy theory. There's bits and pieces of evidence to support that, but I mean, you're talking about 1967 in the middle of the woods. I mean, there's not a lot of, not a lot of evidence to build that case, but hey, if it's true, it's sad, really. I find that kind of depressing, really, but it's I believe it. I mean, we'll kill pack. I don't think bears are in packs, but I mean, we'll kill bears and we'll kill whatever. Packs of mountain lions. It doesn't matter if we need to deforest an area. If we need some extra trees, we'll kill whatever's in that area to get it. So why there's no reason that we should think that we wouldn't kill a tribe of Sasquatch that's just protecting their home. Yeah, Lared. What does Lared? Lared, yeah. Thinker Thunker does great stuff. He really does. He's brilliant. He does just absolute great stuff. One of the most intriguing Bigfoot videos that I've ever seen doesn't have a Bigfoot in it at all, and it was Thinker Thunker talking about the creature throwing logs from the tree line in British Columbia. And like I said, there's no creature in the video at all, but it's some of the most compelling evidence of Sasquatch ever. Honestly does. I mean, as fascinated as I am with the subject, yeah, I would be terrified. I mean, could you imagine? You're just like standing around outside, all of a sudden there's glowing eyes looking at you, and they're not glowing. Uh, Sasquatch are believed to have, what is called tapetum lucidum, which is a reflective tissue behind, the cornea, and it reflects light out. And any creature that can see at night, that has night vision, has tapetum lucidum. So, yeah, it makes sense that they would have it because they're mainly nocturnal. But that's terrifying because you don't know their intention. Their intention could be just curiosity, or they could consider you a food source. Kathy, I think that we as a people have to strongly link Native American culture and Sasquatch. Okay? If you look back in Native American text, they talk all the time about they're forest brothers or the forest devils. You know, given the whatever terrain, there's different types of creatures. Some Native Americans got along with Sasquatch very closely. Some battled them. There's stories about the forest devils that would come out and steal their women and their children, and keep their women as slaves and eat their children and things like that. So there's a lot of history between Native Americans and Sasquatch. And we were talking about this just recently, that I personally believe, and I've been persecuted, I've been mocked, I don't care, I will die on this hill, that Sasquatch, and actually I'm going to use your picture as an example here, one of the examples. I believe that Sasquatch use ponytails and hair braids. Like not plastic braids, but they actually braid their hair. And there's been evidence of this. Your picture is one of that evidence as far as I'm concerned. I think that the creature that you took a picture of has a ponytail. And there was a picture that came out of the Yukon, that the picture the creature had a braid and something red in its hair, almost like red foil, like a hair decoration. And I think that the Sasquatch as a whole, living as closely to the Native Americans as they obviously did, had to have picked up stuff from our culture, or vice versa. I can't even say that for sure. Maybe the Sasquatch taught the humans to do that. I don't know, but that was a long time ago. I was there. But point being is that these two people, entities, they lived close to each other, and they influenced each other. Okay, so absolutely, I would believe that this is maybe possibly one of the reasons why we don't find a lot of Sasquatch, Bigfoot carcasses. They bury their dead, or whatever the case may be. And like right here in this area where I am, we have mounds, and it's too out in the open to be having Sasquatch activity, but it's a fascinating history on how the Native Americans buried their dead. So, Lared, I hope I'm saying that right. Lared, L.A. Red. I have never been the person that believed that Sasquatch has anything to do with UFOs at all. Um, I'm going to go check those out, Kathy. Um, I honestly don't. Not that I not that I don't believe in UFOs, but I don't see how we can say that they're linked. And this is the same thing we were just talking about the other day. Are Bigfoot, do they have telepathy? And I said, why are we compiling a conspiracy with a conspiracy? You're making it complicated. And the same thing with the UFO theory, is that you're taking one conspiracy and you're coupling it with another. And I don't buy these stories. I'm sorry, I just don't buy these stories. These people say, oh, I saw a UFO and then I saw a Bigfoot. Okay, so what did you saw a shooting star, you saw, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of lights in the sky. Okay, when you see a Bigfoot, you saw a Bigfoot. I don't see any reason to connect the two. And frankly, this is a whole story that I really probably I'm not going to dig into tonight. But I don't believe if there are such thing as UFO, and we're just going to call it something more direct than UFO. Let's call it alien space travel. Okay, if there are extraterrestrial, if these UFOs are a real thing, to me personally, I don't feel that there's any way that they come from outer space. Okay, unless there are time wormholes that we don't know about, there it is physically impossible to travel from point A to point B in any creature's lifespan. So if they are real, I think we're talking more about subterranean, under the ocean stuff that we don't know about on the ocean floor. So Kathy, you found mounds with structures nearby, and you're posting that video tomorrow. I'm gonna check that out. All right, so Des, this goes back to the whole Nephilim conversation, which frankly is a conversation that I refuse to have. It has nothing to do with the fact that I'm not religious. I'm not religious, but I know enough about the Bible to hold a conversation. I'm smart enough to do that. But no, I don't believe that Bigfoot have anything to do with the Nephilim. I think that, again, if the Nephilim existed, this is something that we're talking about from well over 2,000 years ago. It's not a subject that we can intelligently talk about. But it seems like every religious Bigfoot person wants to talk about them being Nephilim. And I just personally, like I said, I refuse to have that conversation. There's no grounds to it. There's no there's no intelligent there's no intelligent conversation about it. It's always just, yeah, they're fallen angels. Well, okay, well, prove it, or at least say something intelligent that makes sense. So I'm just gonna say no, and I'm just gonna leave it at that, man. All right, Kathy, cool. I'll Bigfoot World. I'll be checking that out tomorrow. That sounds interesting. I hope to have another video out. I don't know. I don't know, sometime early next week. We have some other channels that we're working on getting up and off the ground, so it's all a very busy time right now. But with a little bit of patience, we'll have some new videos out. We did one the other day that's interesting. Since we're kind of on the alien subject, we did a video about some pictures that are surfacing from Antarctica. And if you guys do go watch that video, I want you to keep in mind that these are not altered online photographs. These are screenshotted from my own phone of Google Maps. Now, I'm of the opinion that Google Maps is the last place that you're going to find some sort of conspiracy. I consider Google to be basically just part of the government. Let's just be honest. So they're going to be bought and paid for to hide any information that's crucial to us. And for these pictures to actually be on Google Maps, to me, says something. Either they don't know about them, or they do know about them, and there's something, I don't know. Anyway, they're very interesting. So as the snow starts to melt in Antarctica, we're finding more and more structures. And I think this is going to become the norm. So yeah, go check that out. I think it's only like two structures that I focused on, but they're legit, and you can actually go look them up on Google Maps yourself before they disappear off of Google Maps, which happens all the time, by the way. Des, back to that subject, I believe that somewhere in the Bible it says giants roamed the earth in those days. And then, you can also talk about the whole David versus Goliath giant theory, and that sort of thing. So, I think that there were larger people back then. We had less, if you ever go to I'm just going to use St. Augustine as an example, but any sort of area like that was sort of controlled by the Spanish in that area in that time period, you're going to find that these people were very sickly. They had scurvy, they had all sorts of sickness. So that's why all the doors are so short. These people didn't grow beyond a certain height. So they didn't need large doors, but if you get out of this country and go to places like Turkey and different areas like that, they have these big, massive doors. And I mean, bigger than, a cart or a wagon, or, I mean, massive, big 30, 40-foot doors. What were these doors used for? And they were made for giants. So yes, I think that there were giants. That does not make them Bigfoot nor Sasquatch. No, no, they don't. But giant. I don't know. Humanoid. I'm not sure. We haven't even talked about Freddy. Okay, so sorry, Freddy. Everyone has met Eddie. You guys know Eddie. Uh, oh, technical malfunction. Sorry, guys. Let's not touch things quite so gingerly. Anyway, so everyone knows Eddie. This is Freddy the Yeti, and he is one of our favorite Christmas decorations. He's here all the time during Christmas. So, Lared, if you hop onto our feed, I guess you can call it, and go back about 3 days ago, maybe 4 days ago, you're going to find a video called Ramblings of a Madman. Dogman Does Not Exist. Okay? And it's just about a 3 or 4 minute video, maybe, of me just blabbing about my disbelief of Dogman. And I will not die on that hill. I'm just waiting for someone to bring some halfway decent evidence that suggests that Dogman is real. Because as of right now, we got nothing. Nothing. I mean, we have, eyewitness accounts, and I put more weight in those than most people, but nah, I'm not seeing it. I think it's lore. I think it's lore left over from the uh, werewolf phenomenon. Again, it's lore from the werewolves, and I just don't think it's a real thing. So I don't know. Like I said, I could be proved wrong, and I'm not going to listen to the Scott Carpenter argument. I'm sorry. I like the guy, but I don't think that he's actually had any groundbreaking footage where we have to stop and go, oh my God, Scott Carpenter found a dog man. I don't think so. So I don't want to talk trash about Scott Carpenter. I like the guy. I met him in Tennessee on vacation with Q, and he's a nice guy. He really is. I'm not compelled by his evidence. Little people. Little people. I don't know. I've never seen one. I've never even came close to seeing one. They're not even in my scope of things. I guess they would be considered a cryptid. Being if you're talking about, like, leprechaun or What is that one? Duendes, I believe they're called, the Spanish one. Um, there's a little bit of evidence to support that. There was that one video. Actually, we have it on our channel. It's like early back on our channel. You have to go. You have to dig back in the beginning, but it was a little person running out of the woods in Indonesia, and he was like almost naked, and he was really small, and these guys were like chasing him down on a motorbike, and he like ran off into the fields, you know. So that was an interesting video, and I didn't really have any reason to believe that was fake. I mean, that the guy on the motorbike, he was right on his ass the whole time, and the little creature guy, he was hoofing it, man. I mean, he was fast, and he got off in the, it was almost not like a cornfield, but it was something, it was really high grass, and he got off in it real fast. And um, if you want to talk about like Indonesia and Bigfoot, then you're talking more about the orang pendek. But this was not a well, I shouldn't say primate. That doesn't make sense. It wasn't an ape type creature. I mean, it wasn't 100% clear either. But I mean, if it was ape, it was hairless, so it looked more human from the angle that we can see anyway. Kiwi girl, are you still listening? Thank you for the subscription. And yeah, please feel free to dig back and watch all of our videos at least once. There she is. If anybody's curious, Baja Kiwi girl here, this is my Q. It's my partner in crime. Um, you hear about her a lot. You don't really, she doesn't interact a lot. She's a silent partner. But she's the reason that Bigfoot Input exists. Um, these two know each other. So let's see, real quick, I'll tell the story. So I had a bunch of Bigfoot pictures on my phone because I was weirdly obsessed with Bigfoot, and I told her we were on vacation one time in Blue Ridge, Georgia, and we were sitting at a table in our cabin, and I said, I think I'm going to put these pictures on my Facebook. I said, I'll just make an album, and then anybody that wants to look at them can look at them, and then if they don't, at least they're off my phone, right? And she says, why don't you make a blog? And I said, what the hell do I know about blogging? And she said, it can't be that hard. You just blog. Put a picture up and put a caption on it. And I said, yeah, okay, sure. So I put up a blog. Well, 5,000 members later, I decided to make a group. And then we made our group, which I think, what are we at, like 3,500 on Facebook? And then along came the YouTube, and now we are quickly approaching 5,000 subs. We had a video a couple weeks ago that went viral, and we crossed 1 million on that video. I think we're at like 1.2 right now. So just, yeah, really happy, really touched by the response from everybody, and just really happy about the outcome. And it all started with her. So I just wanted to say thank you, Q. I appreciate you. I keep hitting the damn thing. Yeah. I'm gonna find a better spot for that. So I'm going to be here for a little bit longer. I'm interested in talking about anything that you guys want to talk about. We do a little bit of everything. A little bit of, well, a lot of Bigfoot, a little paranormal. Well, thank you, baby. I mean, I do a lot of work on the channel, but as I say, if it wasn't for you, I don't know if there would be a channel. Thank you, Kathy. We we're clipping right along. I don't know if we will ever get to the point where this will be a full-time job, but if it ever was, I would gladly do this for the rest of my life. So we're working on it. So I'll throw this out there as a topic. Is anyone else tired of seeing all these UFO videos? Look, like I said, I told you before, I believe that UFOs are, they're obviously real. There's something, we don't know what they are. I don't believe that they're from outer space, but I do believe that they're extraterrestrial life. But I think lights in the sky are so played out. There's so many stories, pictures, videos, photoshops for that matter. I'm just getting kind of tired of it, you know? Like, it just seems like all the time there's just like a new video, like coming up, and it's like, there's another one, you know? And that the plan. Maybe they are trying to dull us or jade us to what's coming, and they already know, but they're just trying to slowly let us get our feet wet, take away the conspiracy. I mean, in no way, shape, or form am I going to get political here, but Trump was creating sort of an intergalactic security system, or a security force, and I just don't believe that that kind of thing goes on without them knowing something that we don't know. You know, I mean, there's probably a reason that welcome, that we haven't been back to the moon. In what, 60 years. There's a lot of conspiracy that wraps around that there's things going on the dark side of the moon that we don't know about. Now that I could buy, that's close enough to us to where, yeah, there could be something going on there. The moon's huge. You know what I think Area 51 is? I think Area 51 is the he's the guy. Okay. Area 51 is Antonio Brown. He's the guy downfield that everybody's covering because he might catch the ball. Because he's good at catching the ball, and they got to cover him. Meanwhile, on the other side of the field, You got Joe Mixon, who catches the ball because no one's covering him. I think Area 51 is a smokescreen. I'm not saying that there's not top secret shit going on there. I think that there is. And it's all, military and, it's our stuff. But are they holding aliens at Area 51? No. Like, let's not be naive, okay? Hey, welcome, Andre. Thanks for joining us. My favorite Bigfoot footage is probably Independence Day. I think it's the best footage that we've ever had. I think it's hard to argue, and you can actually see the baby move its head around. So unless someone went through a hell of a lot of trouble to make not one but two Bigfoot suits, one of them being animatronic or a puppet, come on, where's the conspiracy end to where we eventually just say, okay, that's good footage of a Bigfoot, as opposed to, look at this guy in a suit that made a baby and it's animatronic, and it just seems like proving that it's fake is more of a conspiracy than just admitting that it's real. Also, Andre, if you go back on our page, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago or 3 months ago, you're gonna find a video called "Florida Skunk Ape Breaks a Tree," and it is some of the shittiest, grainiest footage you'll ever see. But what makes it amazing is that you actually see a skunk ape walk up to a tree, shake the entire tree, try to break it, and when he can't break that tree, he moves on to the next tree and actually breaks it. He snaps it in half. And like I said, it's terrible footage, but what happens in the footage is amazing. It's a very underrated piece of footage. Not too many people have it out there in the world. I don't think I've ever seen it on any other channel, but it's pretty impressive. Welcome, FP. I'm trying to think of which one. Oh, okay. I think I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the skunk ape that came up to the woman's porch and was like stealing apples or something, and she got two shots off, one of it bearing its teeth, and actually two of it bearing its teeth, and then it went away, and then she moved from the area and like never came back. Is that the photo you're talking about? I'm gonna tell you. So actually, yeah, Mayock is a fair statement. That was closer to Sarasota, but yeah, yeah, that's the one. So what people need to understand. Okay, so if Bigfoot is obviously a primate, but let's just call it an ape. Okay, when apes show their teeth, they have two different ways of showing their teeth. One, they're going to clench their teeth and they're going to roll their gums back. This is how they smile. This is telling you, I'm not harmful. You know, you caught me stealing apples. I'm leaving now. It's submission. Okay? Now, if the mouth is open and the fangs are showing, that's aggression. In those Mayaka photos, the teeth were closed together. The mouth was closed. So those were not. That was not a sign of aggression from that creature. I know it looks a little creepy, but that creature was actually smiling, saying, "Sorry, I'm gonna get out of here now." And I think you're right. Those are great photos, and you talk about a close up photo of a skunk ape. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Fun fact about Area 51. I'm not sure if you've ever heard this or not, but they say that like 10 to 15 people a day drive through Area 51 and they don't even know it. Area 51, they don't want to bring attention to themselves and let you know that, because a lot of people don't even know where it's at. They can't even find it. So you can actually drive on the property of Area 51 by going certain roads, and they won't call you out, they won't arrest you, they won't do anything. They'll just let you keep driving. And then if you try to approach any of the fences, then you'll have a problem. But it's true. A lot of people drive through Area 51 and never know it. Do you have that one posted, Bigfoot World, Kathy? Yeah, FP, you see them all the time. Those videos of the chimps, and they don't want to get beat up by a larger chimp. They show their teeth in a clenched fashion. It's literally is their way of smiling. They're being submissive. I'll have to check that out. I'm gonna have to find a way to mount this so I don't keep hitting it. Hey, well, welcome, Jeremy. Hey, maybe you stick around, you might learn something, bud. So, one of the things that I think I've found the hardest to get even remotely on board with or wrap my mind around is reptilian people, reptilian humanoids. I find that subject to be so far gone and so bizarre. I can't even step foot into it. Kathy, is it being? I have to go watch this video. Is it being thrown sideways across your game cam? Hey, welcome, Lemons Cure. I have seen many episodes of Dexter's Laboratory, but I don't think I've ever seen that one. And Happy New Year's to you too. That's interesting, Kathy. Well, you live in the neighborhood for it. I mean, out where you live, I wouldn't be shocked to see activity right in your own backyard. Hey, if any of you guys aren't subscribed yet, please hop over, hit the subscribe channel button. It doesn't cost anything, and it helps out a lot. So we would appreciate it. I feel left out now. I'm gonna have to go watch this episode of Dexter's Laboratory. Did you guys ever see the MacGyver that had the Bigfoot in it? Um, when I trace my memories back, I think that might be my very first exposure to Bigfoot. I loved MacGyver. What a great show. I saw that movie a couple times, Legend of Boggy Creek. That's a hell of a story, man. Bob Lazar. I mean, I think that guy's totally legit. I don't. I'm surprised, honestly. Like, I hate to say this out loud, but I'm surprised that he's still alive. I really am. Like, I think the only reason he's still alive is because everybody's like writes him off as a crackpot. But I think like everything he's saying is totally legit, and I think that the government is just sort of like hiding him in plain sight. Because if you believe, like, I don't know if anyone, like, you remember that guy that created that car, the engine that was like completely, what do you call it, like hydroelectric, like it ran on water, like nothing other than like water. And it was an engine. He created an engine that ran on water, and he was making videos about it and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, he took a sip of cranberry juice, started having a heart attack, and he ran out in his front yard. His brother ran from next door, and he collapsed in the yard. And his last words were, "They got me. They poisoned me." And he died like right there on his yard, like in his front yard. So I've often thought, I was like, you got to be careful about the things that you say publicly. If you step on the wrong toes, there's no freedom of speech. I mean, you could end up dead if you really mess with the wrong people. And creating an engine that runs on water, I mean, you're pissing in the face of a lot of powerful people. No kidding. Near Folk, huh? I have never been there. I would like to go at some point. There's a lot of places I want to go, if I'm honest. I want to go to Chatham, Alaska. I think that there's a lot of stuff there that we haven't figured out yet, and yeah, the Legend of Boggy Creek, I think that's one of the most powerful Bigfoot films ever made, honestly. But I mean, like, if you were to make a movie about it has two names. It's Chatham, Alaska. It's Newport something, Alaska. I mean, they built a whole like fishing village there, a whole town. They had a post office and everything, and they kept finding bodies of the fishermen in the bay, just mangled. I mean, just intestines ripped out and just completely mangled. And they would find them in the bay there. And so they couldn't figure out what was doing it, and they were getting these reports of this large, hairy creature that lived in the woods nearby, right? Bigfoot, right? So eventually, when they couldn't trap it, kill it, do anything productive, they just decided to leave. Um, in fact, if you go back to our community page, about, I don't know, 20 posts back or so, you're going to find Google Maps picture of the last structure in Chatham. I think it's Port Chatham, Alaska, which I believe was the old post office building. The post office was the last person in town. Everyone else had packed up and left. They're like, forget it, we're out of here. You know, they don't want to get eaten by, you know, the Sasquatch, whatever. Well, the post office guy, he couldn't leave his post. He works for the government. So he was stuck there. And then finally they said that he got the phone call from the boss, Postmaster General, says, get the hell out of there. And he was able to just lock his door and just get in his vehicle and leave. And from what I understand, he was the last person that, you know, that officially that stepped foot there. Now, I'm sure there's been like explorers and stuff since then that have went there, but yeah, it doesn't seem like there's much like footage coming out of that area, you know? And I would love to see some video evidence coming out of there. I think that would be cool. I don't know, it was so long ago. Whatever lived there was probably long gone by now, but it's still an interesting subject, you know? All right, guys. Some of us have to work tomorrow, so I'm going to shut it down. I was typically want to do these for about an hour, but they always end up running over about an hour and a half or so because everyone's so engaged and everyone's talking. I don't like shutting them down, so I appreciate everyone joining us. Like I said, we're going to be doing this every 2 weeks, so usually it's going to be every other Friday at 8:30 p.m. EST. Um, that's about as often as I can do it. We encourage you to show up, encourage you to invite your friends, you know, bring them on. Let's talk about stuff. We appreciate all the support. You can leave us a super thanks on YouTube if you care to. We appreciate that. If you want to support our channel, please, it's at patreon.com/Bigfoot Input. It's $1 a month, and it does help support the channel and helps us create new content, okay? So anyway, I appreciate everyone for coming. I appreciate all the conversation. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. And until then, this is J Mac. I'm out. And keep squatching.